Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne, and I am just popping on here for a little bit. I'm trying to remain consistent. Even if I don't stay on long for a live stream, I try to come on somewhere in the afternoon between 2 and 4 Eastern Standard Time and or 10 p.m. at night. Now, I'm usually pretty good about coming on around 10 p.m. at night. And yet I do try to come on during the daytime as well. Not a lot of people are home during the daytime, so that can make it, where people watch it in replay, which is perfectly fine with me. And sometimes I come on for 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes I come on for an hour, sometimes longer, sometimes 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the afternoon when I'm really, really busy. And yet I try to pop on, if at all possible, so that I can keep that consistency. Now, I'm not able to do it every day. Some days there are times that I can't do it. Hey, Ron, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Ron, for being here. I appreciate it. Ron, it's kind of like um, I do try to come on somewhere between the 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. if I'm going to come on during the afternoon. And then, of course, 10 o'clock at night. And some days I miss, like last week, I missed it for like a whole week because I was on Tybee Island at our other home. And so I wasn't able, it was just more challenging to do it from there. Our internet connection is good there, but my family was all around and they don't like to be in the live streams. How are you doing, Ron? How are things going for you today and for your week? It's almost over. This is Thursday. I have no idea where our week went. I really have no clue where it went. And we just got home late yesterday from Tybee, and we've had a little beach house out there for since our kids were babies. And so we used to consider it our first home because that was where we lived full time. And now, we just go there more like a weekend retreat or every now and then, it's more of a vacation home now, but we love it. It feels like we're back home when we go there because it's just a small little island of 2 miles long. I am glad you are doing great, Ron. When you have a great day, dance with it, sing with it, enjoy it, savor it, have fun with it. There's enough rainy days in life that, when you do get a good day, whether it's a great health day, a great financial day, a great relationship day, a great job day, a great anything day, dance with it, enjoy it, savor that moment. Never let someone make you feel badly because you're enjoying your good moments in life. When I see someone who is going through a really great time, maybe they've just had a new baby, or maybe they just got married, or maybe they found a partner and they are so happy and they're in love. Maybe they've had some good fortune financially, or maybe they've gotten a new job and they're all excited. I applaud them. I am so happy when I hear good news in other people's lives because there's so much of the other kinds of news. Oh, that's great, Ron. That is so great. You know what, Ron? You do great lives. You really do. I mean, you get a panel up there, right? I mean, you have kind of a mixture. I'll have to come on your panel one day. I really will. I don't know what I'll talk about, because you kind of talk about a lot of different subjects, which makes it really interesting. My panels are more grandma panels. We talk about grandma stuff, motivation, inspiration, wisdom, how to live your best life. But we do talk about heavy topics too. But you talk about I think, don't you kind of go a little bit with politics sometime? See, I don't do that over here because it's so iffy here on YouTube to do politics. But yeah, yeah, yeah. My live streams, I usually come on at thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. So if you see me down there in that box, don't be surprised. The little StreamYard box. How long have you been doing live streams? Because I only remember lately, like maybe in the last couple of weeks, that seeing your live streams. And I'll pop over, I'll share it out, or I'll come say hi. I haven't been up on your panel at all. Usually you have men up there, right? It's most like usually I have women up here, but I do have men up here too. And your live streams are usually, if I remember correctly, oh, okay, okay. It seems like your live streams are like about 8 o'clock in the evening. Am I right or am I wrong? Or no, it seems like daytime. I can't keep up with you. My live streams are usually between 2 and 4 p.m., somewhere in that ballpark. I never know. And usually at 10 o'clock. And last night I came on, I think at 9:45 because I was a little bit tired and I didn't know how late I would be up, although I was up pretty late. And we had just gotten in. So, it's like, I'm not, it's not that I can't come. Oh, okay, 11:30. Ron, I'm telling you, 11:30 is the best time to come on. There are people still up. They're done with whatever they were going to be doing with. Their partner's already asleep. Their husband or their wife or whatever is already asleep. They're just sitting there surfing the net. And then, and not a lot of people are on at 11:30 at night live stream. So if you come on, you'll get a really, really good following at that time. I would say the worst time to come on is during, like, right now, while I'm 3 o'clock, because most people are not home, or if they're home, they're doing something. They're making dinner, they're doing laundry, they're doing something. So, I just come on, I just pop on. And sometimes, I get a lot of people on, sometimes nobody, and it doesn't matter. I just kind of pop on to stay consistent so that people know that I'm going to be consistent. One of my big issues, Ron, that I've been having is YouTube doesn't push me out. It only pushes me out maybe to a handful of people until after I'm off. And then it seems like after I've been off maybe an hour or two, people start to come over and they say, oh, I thought you were, I got a notification just now that you're on live. So I've had this glitch probably for a long time. Hey, Red, Red, would you like to come up and visit with me? I have not seen you in forever. Ron, you're welcome to come up. Let me give the invite. Let me put it here. This is an odd time of the day, really, to come on here. And welcome, ADAC. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let me give you a blue wrench. It's an odd time of the day to come on a live stream because people are not home. People are usually not home at this time. Jack, welcome, welcome to you. And I hope you are having a great, great day. A great day. Red, I have not seen you. I was on live stream last night. I didn't see you. I haven't seen you in maybe 2 weeks where you have been you haven't been live streaming, of course, because you only live stream once a month, but I haven't seen you. And I think it's because YouTube is not letting people know that I'm on live. I think what it is. Plus, I've been off. That's the truth. You know what? That's perfectly fine, Red. I love folding laundry. And I just did a video. And I'm going to put it up because it's editing in the kitchen right now, called Crochet Your Way Through Worry. Crochet your way through your problems. Now, I don't crochet, but I do iron. I do laundry. I do cleaning. I do cooking. I'm an artist. I paint. I write. I do poetry. Of course, you all know I do a 5-mile run, walk, waddle, sprint, jog every day. But the context of that video was doing things with your hands, especially when you're going through a difficult, challenging, or worrisome time. Get busy doing something that you enjoy, that relaxes you. Here's Ron. Welcome, Ron. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Sorry about that.
That's all right, my friend. That's all right. Where are you from, Ron? Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
You don't sound like it. You sound like you're from Georgia, where I'm from.
I'm from Texas.
You sound like you're from Georgia. I'd say you were from Georgia or Virginia or someplace like that.
No, I'm really from Texas. I'm just kidding you.
Mm, I love Texas. What part of Texas?
Waco, right in the middle.
Okay, I love Texas. I really, really do. And Texas, I lived in Texas. I lived back in the late 70s. I lived there in Houston off of FM 1960. And then I went back in the mid 80s and lived there for a little bit. Well, and then the early 80s. And then I went back in the early 2000s, and I lived there for about almost 5 years. I loved, loved, loved Texas.
That Houston is a big old area. I don't care much about getting down there, but I'm an old country boy.
Yeah, when I went there originally, it wasn't like it is today. It was big, but we lived on the outskirts off of FM 1960, which was like country. Now you go there and it's just sprawling. It's like I mean, I didn't recognize it when I went back.
But Waco is not near as big as Houston or Dallas or San Antonio. It's maybe, I don't know, 150,000 people or something like that. So
Mhm,
it's
mhm.
still more of a small field. And
Now you travel in your RV, right?
yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I do some camping I ride motorcycle. And I've got one bike that's got a sidecar on it. And me and my dog will take off and we'll camp off that motorcycle. We camp
Wow,
off it. And then we camp out of an RV. I live in an RV full time.
I love that idea.
And so,
You
yeah,
know, we had two RVs. They were motorhomes, and one was a 40-foot bounder, and one was a 35-foot Winnebago sightseer that had the bunk beds and all that in it. We traveled 48 states. And I always tell my husband, I say, you know what, if we ever move, because we have our home here and we have our home on Tybee Island, but I said if I was ever really going to move and downsize, it would be a motorhome. I would live, I believe in motorhomes, travel trailers, and what I really love now are those van conversions.
well, I'm going back to my first RV again. Uh, I've had motorhome Class A's, vans, travel trailers, fifth wheels over the years. And I'm going back to a cab over camper on a pickup. I'm single and just nothing but me and that little pup of mine. And then I can pull anything I want to. I like to kayak and run the motorcycles and do that kind of stuff. So pulling a trailer is sort of handy for me.
Mhm, mhm. Welcome, welcome, Tuber Chat. Welcome, my friends. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you're connected to Tuber Chat or not. Fantastic channel. They grow the right way. You will grow, grow, grow your channel. You'll make really authentic friends. Fantastic, fantastic channel. Thank you, Tuber Chat. Thank you, my friend. It is wonderful and a pleasure, as always, to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you. Well, you know what? I love motorhomes. And like I said, if I ever move again, it would be into a motorhome. Now, I don't know if I would move into a van conversion, but I've talked one of my sons into potentially buying a van conversion. Let me bring Red up here. Welcome, welcome.
Hi. I've missed you.
I've missed you. Now you all know each other. You know Ron.
Yes, I know Ron. Hey, Ron, how's it going?
Oh, just mean as ever.
He's not mean.
Hey,
Not from
Kenneth,
New York.
welcome, welcome. You know what, Red? Of course, I've been on Tybee Island. I've been down there for, a week. And so I didn't do live streams from Tybee because my family, we had it's a beach house. And so my family's right there, though I didn't really have a place to specifically do a live stream where there was nobody. Like here, I can come in here and block myself off. And so I didn't do a live stream while there. I did content, but no live stream. And but I had not seen you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. I've been really busy too. I'm trying to get caught up on my taxes. And I got 2021. I went to H&R Block. I got 2021 done last night. So I was excited about that. But I still have 3 years of taxes.
Have you heard? It's called My Free Taxes.
Uh-uh.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it's called My Free Taxes. I think it's fantastic. I'm not endorsing anything or anything like that, but it was just I've known people
Yeah.
that used it. Now we didn't use it, but I've known people that used it, and it's free.
Yeah, because H&R Block is expensive.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
these ones that are passed, I don't know. Well, pray for me. I have to dig up enough receipts so that because my Airbnb, I was using my home. And so she's like, you didn't make this much. And it's not even that much. It's like $10,000 I made in a year. And I said, there was a lot of expenses, because I would buy food for my Airbnb. She's like, you might be able to deduct your electric bill, home repairs. And so those one are
Oh, you can do that when you have an Airbnb. There's anything that's in regards to that Airbnb, you can pretty much close to deduct. If you have to travel to it to go check on it, most of that or much of that is wrote off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a tax advisor or anything, but you can pretty much write just about any repairs, anything.
Yeah.
So, Ron, what do you think? What do you think about van conversions? Tell me your thoughts on them.
They're all right. I've got to the point that I don't like having all my eggs in one basket. And if you break down or something, that's one thing I like about the cab over or the trailers. If you break down or something, you can take and pull that off and go put your truck in the shop or whatever you pull in a travel trailer with. And the van conversions are handy. I had one years and years ago that was one of these soft tops that you just hit 4 latches and shoved up. And when you did, well, it had 6 foot of headroom in it. And I enjoyed it. But I guess as I'm getting older, I want it simpler. And, just less stuff going on. And I'm pretty bad about tinkering with stuff anyway. I appreciate you giving me a check on that, girl.
So let me ask you this: if you were if you're pulling a camper, which I love campers, that was my first love. When I was little, I used to make my mom stop at the camper place, back in the '60s, and they had the little tiny campers. I love those.
That's what I want to get.
Oh, I love that.
I want to get eventually.
The only issues that I hear about them is that they can jackknife easily. What do you think about that?
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Problem.
No problem.
No, Red knows this, but for 3 years I delivered RVs, the new one, out of Elkhart, Indiana, and I pulled campers in that 3 years, 325,000 miles towing, and I pulled everything from teardrops to 44-foot fifth wheels, motorhomes, and a trailer jackknifing is not a problem, and unless you're just an idiot with it, if the wind's blowing 70 miles an hour sideways, you need to get off the highway. Don't try to keep pulling it. But it's like anything else. You can put some people in a car and they're going to tear everything in the world up. And it's the same thing with the trailer.
You got to be smart. You got to be smart. I know when I drove the motorhome, and it was a 40-foot bus. And I mean, it had air brakes, and I wasn't comfortable with the air brakes. But I was comfortable when we got the other one, the Winnebago, because it was gasoline. And I don't know why I wasn't comfortable with air brakes. I just didn't understand the concept.
It's harder to ease into the air brake.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones you can ease into that brake, but the air brakes, you're either on them or off of them.
Yes.
And it's different if you've never driven anything like that.
Yes.
But everybody's got a different need for an RV, what they use one for.
Yes.
And so My perfect deal, I think, is going to be. I just bought another trailer the other day, and it's a 32 foot, and it's a 2 bedroom. Uh,
Wow.
and it's ideal because I can set a computer room up in that 1 bedroom. Then I've got the master bedroom that you can shut off, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's got 4 slides on it. Well,
Oh,
the kitchen's got an island in the middle of it, and
and you bought this? Is it a fifth wheel?
no, it's a bumper pool, 32 foot bumper pool,
Wow.
and it's just like a nice apartment, you know.
Yeah,
But it's
I love them. I love it. And housing now has become so unaffordable. People don't realize. I mean, I told my two sons, I have my daughter lives down the street. She has her own apartment, but my two sons are in their early 20s. They go to college and all that. And, of course, they want to move out. And we've kind of created an apartment to the side of our house. We did kind of a conversion. And so one of them has like an apartment out there. Actually, they kind of share it on and off. And they still live inside the house, but they like that for their own place. But I said, you know what? Apartments here where we live in our little town are 2,000 a month for a 1 bedroom.
oh
For
yeah,
one
crazy.
bedroom.
I have never lived this cheap in my life, and
Yeah,
I do.
I don't know how people can afford it.
I don't. I pay $350 a month. I rent a place. It's not in an RV park. It's from an individual. I pay $350 a month, and then another $40 for uh, any extra electricity or anything I use. So for less than $400, I pay all my bills but the phone bill. You know, there's no taxes, no mowing, no grass, any of that kind of mess. And I'll put money in the bank every month, and used to, it would take 3 or 4 times as much money as I'm spending right now to just maintain a house and insurance and taxes and all that junk. It mounts up. This is cheap living. There's no joke about that.
Welcome, welcome. My beautiful friend is in the house, Undell. She is another friend I have not seen in weeks. Welcome, welcome, my beautiful friend. And I dropped the StreamYard if you want to come up. Ron, do you know Un?
No, I don't.
You want to definitely connect with her channel. She has about 4 channels. She's like me. I have 5 channels. She has 4 channels, I think. Every one of them are flourishing, Ron. She does live stream on which one of them I can't remember, but then she took off some live stream. She's content provider, but you will grow your channel through the connections that you will meet through her. She is amazing and she's very inspiring. You will really, really love her. And she's wonderful, beautiful soul, absolutely beautiful. Ron, I will tell you, and I know Red is kind of toying with looking at different things for her life. And she and I have kind of discussed, the possibility of a camper and things like that. I just think a van conversion for some people might work because a lot of people are intimidated. Like me, I'm intimidated by something what you're talking about, pulling something that big. Although I have come a long way in a very short amount of time. I pulled the my husband taught me how to hook up the trailer on the back of our truck because we take a trailer back and forth because we have scooters. To get around the island, you really have to have a scooter because there's no parking. The parking is very limited. So we take scooters everywhere or motorcycles where we can park, kind of stick them in somewhere. And so we hooked up the trailer. So now I know how to do all that. Well, I used to drive the motorhome, but I was never really comfortable pulling the car behind a 40-foot bus. I mean, it really kind of unnerved me. So for me, I like the idea of a van conversion, just because it's more manageable. And I don't know how Red feels about that.
I think a van conversion for ladies makes more sense really than it does for me because y'all can get in and go when you want to. And I'm about halfway rough looking, so people don't mess with me too much. And uh, I feel comfortable getting out of a vehicle and going up and getting in it and leaving. Or with ladies, you can just hop off the bed and walk up there and crank it up and leave if you need to.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes more sense. There's a lot of solo females that use the vans. That's
Yeah.
something that shocked me is that I think there's more solo women than there is solo men out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to do a lot with it. Just people can't afford to go get an apartment even. And then when you get an apartment, you're throwing all your money away that you never see
Mhm.
again. At least if you go get yourself a van conversion. Okay, let's say that you invest 50,000. I mean, which is a lot for a lot of people, or even 100,000. Ultimately, it's like investing in a house. You may not get it back if you sell it, but if you plan on permanently living in it or keeping it, you're investing in it. You're not throwing your money away like you are with an apartment, or if you get a camper, or if you get a motorhome. But the problem, like you said, Ron, is if you get a motorhome and it breaks down and it's in the shop, you have no place to live.
Yeah. I got insurance though that was supposed to supposedly pay, if it got messed up, and then it would pay for me to stay in a hotel. But, I thankfully never had to use that. But when my RV was being fixed, I would get it fixed here and I would stay here where I am at now. So, but yeah, that is why I got the Class C, Ron, because I wanted to be able to, if I was somewhere where I didn't feel comfortable, I wouldn't have to get out and like hitch it up, and I could just go up to the driver's seat and drive off, if I wasn't hooked
Yes.
up.
Like I say, I think it makes more sense for a lady or something than it really does for me. And like I say, I don't have much trouble. I've been around a little bit, so and that makes a lot of difference.
It does. It does. I don't trust myself pull, pulling something or without my husband. He's very technically savvy, but if I have to do it on my own, I'm more hesitant. Hey, Richie, welcome, welcome. I'll give you a blue wrench. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And my friend Un can't come up today because she's got a live stream going on at the same time. She has her life journey. Make sure you're connecting with Unjel, her channel too. You can double dip. I always call it double dipping. You can have one screen open with one channel, one screen open with the other at the same time and going between the two. But make sure you connect with her channels because she's amazing and you will love, love, love Un. You really will love Unjel. And her main channel is Unjel, but she has 4 channels. What did you say? 4 or 3?
Three. She said
Channels. 3.
three.
And as y'all know, I have 5 channels, and they keep you running between all of the channels. But yeah, Red. So, what are your thoughts? Are you going to go ahead and get an RV, or are you going to get an apartment? What are you going to do?
So it kind of like is up in the air, and like that's what I've been doing, is trying to figure out when I'm leaving here, because I'm going to relocate to near my son in Colorado. And so
Colorado's good. I think
yeah,
you'll like it. California is too expensive. It's too
yeah,
crazy. I think Colorado is good.
I'd like to eventually end up in California though, because I just love it. It's my home. When I was out there, because I was out by my brother when I left in my RV, I was by my brother from December 2020 till um, February to March. I came back here for a month to babysit Blue. He's chewing on his bone. I don't know if he's being so loud. That's what that noise is.
Yeah.
But, so I came back here for a month, but I was mostly my RV was at my brother's from December till 2020 till April 2021, and then I left my brother's. And then when I was out there, I was just, I felt like I was home, and I was thinking of relocating to the San Diego area, but it is so expensive.
Yeah, I had an apartment. It was, and this is in 1980, I think, or about 1980, 81. And at that time, it was very expensive for me. It was $650 a month. Now, that was down by the beach. It was by a golf course by the beach. It wasn't on the beach, but it was near the beach. It was a very nice apartment, 1 bedroom. That apartment now is $5,000 a month.
Wow.
5,000 for a 1 bedroom apartment. 5,000. Who can afford $5,000 for an apartment? I mean, even here in our little town, $2,000 a month for a decent 1-bedroom apartment. I mean, oh my gosh, forget it. If I, like I said, I told my husband, I said, I'm never selling any of our, I'm not selling our houses. I'm keeping them. I'll be an old lady peeping out the window, but I'm keeping our houses. But even at that, if I wanted to travel, I would just get me a van conversion and I would travel in that van conversion,
Yeah.
And because I'm older, and, I'm still strong and still powerful, but,
Well,
Yeah.
you're not but 32, are you?
Oh, well, thank you, my darling. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Yeah, me too.
appreciate you. I turn 65 this coming June.
That's insane.
I will be 65 years. Where did the time go? When
Yeah, that's what I think. Where did the time go?
I don't
You're
know where it went.
you're younger than I am.
How old are you?
75.
You don't look 75, my dear. You do not look 75.
No, he doesn't.
It's your attitude. Your attitude plays such an important
Oh yeah.
part of the age. People don't realize that.
It
It's not
does.
just about what you eat or whether you smoke or don't smoke or don't drink. It's that attitude. And my aunt was about 90 years old when she passed, but she seemed young forever. I mean, she never got old. Her attitude was young.
I have friends of mine that were 18 years old. We were in high school that were old. I mean, they were old at 18. And then I've got some other people I know that, like you say, are in their 80s and 90s, and they act like they're 20-year-olds.
Oh, let me tell you, I was down, and Red knows this because she reads my posts over on Facebook. And I was, I've been on Tybee Island for the last week, and that's where my kids were all babies. We all lived on Tybee Island. It's a 2-mile island by a half-mile wide. It's a real island. It's just connected by a tiny bridge off of Savannah. You probably know it, Ron. And so anyhow, 91-year-old Nana still lives in her house, still drives her car, and she gets everywhere. And I said to her, because I went over her house every day. I run the beach from my house to her house. And I was sitting there and I said, Nana, I said, she's been like a grandmother to my kids and a second mother to me because we've known her forever. And I said, Nana, when did you realize you got old? She said, what? I said, when did you realize you got old? She said, what? I said, when did you realize you got old? She said, I'm not old. She said, I never realized I got old. I said, oh, I said, well, when did you realize that maybe you started having some health issues? She said, you know what? It has nothing to do with old age. And I made a video on this, and it just is so profound. She said, sickness and old age have nothing to do with each other. She said, you can be sick at any age.
I still like fast motorcycles and fast cars and fast women, so.
But she said that. She said, you can, age has nothing to do with whether you're sick or you're well. It's a human condition. She said, she said, I'm in human form and you have to expect things along the way in life, all kinds of problems. You're in human form.
Yeah.
And I just cherish that. I did a video on that, and I think I said called the best wisdom I ever heard from, but she's 91 and she drives her car and she mows her grass and she's out there every day. And I just love that.
I have a funny story, Dianna. So when I was still in Georgia, and I, as I said before, I made friends with Gladys when she stayed at my house, at my Airbnb, when she was being relocated with the Air Force. But she didn't have Blue. Her dad was watching Blue. And then when she was relocating again, though, and I had stopped doing Airbnb, she came and stayed at my house with Blue. And thankfully, he got along because I had a little Maltese. I called her Boo. She was so cute. But anyways, then she came up here, and I was watching Blue still while she got settled up here. And that's when the pandemic hit. I was going to take Blue up there, or one of us, me or her dad, because her dad was in Georgia at that time, was going to take Blue up there to her and swap off, and she was going to get her dog. But then I ended up having Blue for 2 more months. But when the pandemic hit, and all of these things, and she goes, and like she's like she was born like the year I graduated high school. So I'm, she was like, when we were discussing like who was going to bring Blue in the pandemic, and she's like, but my dad, he's old. And I was like, and I just kind of, at first I went, yeah, he is. I went like, yeah, he is. And then I was like, wait a second. He's the same age as me, because, she's like a little bit older than my oldest child, Gladys is. So it was funny because he's like, my dad, he's old, like he can't do it. It's a pandemic. He's old. And I'm like, and then I was like, wait, I'm the same age as your dad. But it's just like, I don't seem.
Age is a perception, and I refuse to grow old. I will never grow old. I will be ageless, because my spirit is ageless. When you think about it, your spirit doesn't have an age to it.
Yeah.
Our bodies may technically have an age, but our spirits do not. Our spirits are ageless, and our souls are ageless. And I'm ageless, me and Cher.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles, welcome. Thank you for being here. Charles.
I didn't see Kenneth sneak in here either. Hey, Kenneth.
Kenneth is here. Charles Wright is here. Ungel, thank you. Richie, thank you. Coming on in the afternoon, Red, and it's just kind of like, it's not the best time to come on, but I come on whenever I can come on. I do. Hey, Bouncer Slab, thank you. And Bouncer was here last night on my live stream.
Yeah, and I don't know why. See, I have an alarm that goes off, Diana, but I'm always like, sometimes I'm busy and I check.
Yeah, it's not. YouTube is not pushing me out right now for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get your notifications still. I even tried like unringing the bell and like re-ringing it. I thought maybe that might work. But it's still like just now I was in the basement with the laundry, like I said, and that my alarm went off, and my alarm says it's Diana live, and I have to go check, and I'm like, oh my goodness, she went, at, because you would go around 3, so my alarm goes off at like, I don't know, 2:55 or something. Yeah. And so my alarm went off.
When people get the notice, it's like 2 hours after I've already stopped, and so I don't know.
I don't notice at all, though.
Yeah, I don't get no notice. Yeah, no notice. So I don't know. I just come on, and if anyone shows up, I'm grateful. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful. It started a year and a half ago with my glitch, and so I just kind of ride with it. I've contacted them many times, and I even had it where I would go into other people's live streams and they couldn't see me. I could comment 20 comments and nobody would see me. I'd have to go into another channel.
I have that too, but it's because I'm blocked.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't blocked. But they were what they called shadow banned. And a lot of people got shadow banned for a while. I don't know why.
No. Well, maybe in some cases it is that. I don't know. Maybe not as many people have me blocked as I think.
Bouncers.
I don't know. I don't really care anymore.
I feel old today, but will feel young tomorrow. Life can be like that, though. It's like sometimes you have a good day and maybe a not so good day. I mean, life, that's just the human condition. I think the more we realize it's just the human condition. One of the things I did a video on, and I'm going to put it up after I get off of here today. It's called Crochet Your Way Through Worry. And, people don't realize the beauty of having something to do with your hands. Like men, I'm sure, like Ron works with his hands with, mechanical things. And often what people don't realize, it's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing. It's very healing. You work your way through. People who crochet tend to work their way through problems a lot better than people who don't. I don't crochet, but I paint, I write, I cook, I do a lot of different things. Find something that relaxes you with your hands, and you'll be able to get through problems a lot easier.
Yeah. See, I'm enjoying not having the responsibility of a house and all of the expenses of owning a house and all of that. But I like gardening. And so that's why I want sticks and bricks. And I like cooking. So that's why I would want to sticks and bricks again. And so I talked to my son. I was trying to talk on the phone with my son, and he's busy. He started a new job, my younger son. And and he called me just as I was at the Y about to get in the pool, but I had got there early, so I had time to talk. And so he's gonna help me look for a place in Denver. So I'm gonna try and sell my RV here.
So why are you selling your RV though? Why not live in it?
I've been mostly living in it for the past year. This is the longest I've ever stayed here. I've been here since October, but I didn't I didn't want to live in it. It was going to be a temporary thing, being in my RV, and I guess I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I liked it though. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to
Yeah.
do for a year, but I want a more I want to stay in one place longer. I was moving
Have you
around.
thought about buying a piece of land in Colorado, parking your RV on that piece of land, and then eventually building a house?
Yeah, that's a thought too.
I mean, I just love it. I'm all about RVs. I mean, like Ron is.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's like I'm telling my kids, I'm saying, hey, you know what, to get out there, and I'm all about them being independent. But I said, you're going to spend 1,500, 2,000 a month on an apartment, and you're never going to see that money again.
Yeah, that's why I want to look into buying something when I go to Colorado, but Denver's kind of expensive too. Denver's kind of expensive too, and like the amount of cash I'm going to have is not really enough to get anything very big, you know. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what,
I'm kind of in transition, kind of figuring out what's going to work. Like if I don't sell the RV here, then I will drive it there and probably sell it there. But I wanted to get something smaller because I don't want to be traveling in it full time.
Red has trouble with a trash can jumping on her in that big RV.
I clipped a trash can. More bang for your bucks called me the kleptomaniac. I messed up my bumper. I had to get my bumper fixed by my brother in California because second day out, and I was excited. I was going to Denver to see my son for Thanksgiving, and I was getting gas, and I like turned too soon. I wasn't yet used to the length of it. I turned too soon, and then I caught my bumper on those bars at the end of the tanks, the gas tanks, and so my bumper was messed up.
Yeah,
And
me and Red have known each other for what, 2 or 3 years, something like that. And so
no,
I give her a hard time. Well,
I've only
when I first met you online, though, you were just getting your RV.
Yeah, no, it's only been a year. It's been less than a year, Ron, because I've
Yeah,
only been on here for a year.
I thought it'd
So
been
how
like,
did you all decide to come on YouTube? I mean, how did you decide to create a channel, both of you?
Do you want me to go first?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is first.
That's interesting. Yeah, you know what? I told the story when Box Fan D, when Box Fan D um, interviewed me. I told the story about the green card guy that came to my Airbnb, and he wanted, and I fell for him, but he wanted to get me to marry him to get his green card. He was over here on a visa, and he just got grandfathered in because Syria, there was a travel ban on Syria where he was from. Um, and so, and when I found out the truth, what happened, there wasn't really anything I could do. And I knew he was still going to try with someone else. And I was like, what can I do? And I called, I even went to the police. I went to the police and they're like, you're supposed to call immigration. And immigration wants to know about fake marriages, report that. And so I couldn't report him. There wasn't anything I could do. So I blogged about him, and he at first didn't do anything, but then I took a picture. I did something really bad. I took a picture off his Twitter and put it on there, and then he got mad and he had my blog taken down. And so at that time, and I was already trying to get going just to see how it would do. I was trying to get going on. I took my old YouTube down. I had like family stuff, kind of like when you said I had videos of the kids and stuff. I had, it wasn't really, I took a lot of stuff down and totally redid it. But when he took my blog down, I said, look for me on YouTube. I said, I'm just going to another platform, but my blog got put back up. But that was kind of how, and then just starting out with.
So when did you do your first live stream?
A year ago in March.
Did you have anybody on your channel when you did it?
What do you mean? I think I had like 50. I had like 50 subscribers, like the beginning of 2021. I think I had like only 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers. So, and also just starting this journey, looking up channels about traveling in your RV, and where I learned about that was in a narcissistic abuse recovery group on Facebook. There was a woman who sold her belongings and her stuff and downsized and was traveling around in her RV, and she liked it so much she said she was going to do it for, I think she said she was going to do it for 2 years, and she did it for 4 years. But just like, I think that's another reason why, Dianna, all the women are doing it, because like they are getting out of abusive relationships, are getting away, getting divorced and looking for more independence. And that's the way they can find it is, going off and traveling, because I was just stuck in Georgia, and I knew like my ex could see my every move. He knew where I was. He was close by.
And it gave you the freedom to have a new adventure. Sometimes when you don't know where you want to go, you can start traveling, and you just eventually you'll find your way. So Ron, what created your channel, and how long ago?
Mine's sort of a screwy story. My wife got very ill. She got where she couldn't walk around much, was on oxygen all the time. And she still liked to go. And so I bought a casita, one of the small travel trailers.
Yeah.
And I could take her oxygen from the pickup to that trailer. You could walk that far. If she needed to use the restroom or something like that, well, with the trailer behind us, she could do it. And so she could still go and camp and do that kind of stuff. Well, that sort of, and I'd pulled RVs for 3 years. Well, after she died, then I still had the casita, and I still did some running around. And I was amazed at how many people bought those travel trailers, the casitas especially, and never had pulled a trailer. They didn't know what the hell they were doing at all.
Right.
There were times that I took and like the first time I went to Porch, I just put on the internet that on YouTube that I was the casita form, and that I was going to Quartzsite, that I wasn't going to guide or any of that kind of stuff. But if somebody wanted to tag along, fine. Well, I wound up with 12 people.
Oh, just from that video.
Yeah, just from that video, and 4 of the people had never pulled a trailer. They didn't know how to hook one up. They didn't know anything. And it sort of got into a deal. I got to helping people get into the RVs and learning how to hook them up and block them and that guy. I probably helped 25 people, I guess, and most of them women. that just learned how to tow, you know.
Wow. So
And
you
then,
just kind of put up a video, not thinking, you didn't have any subscribers, and you just put up this video, and all of a sudden you got 12 subscribers right from that one video.
yeah, well, this was a casita forum that I was on. It wasn't on YouTube then. But then I go to the VA here, and a lot of the guys here got PTSD pretty bad, and I work with them pretty often. And what really got me on YouTube when all this pandemic mess started, everybody was locked up in the house.
Oh, yeah.
And this just came YouTube to a lot of people. It's the only contact they've got with the outside world.
Absolutely.
I think YouTube got a lot of people through this pandemic, and including me. I mean, and the that's how I sort of got started. And plus, I like it simple. I've owned businesses, and I've owned houses, and I've owned rent houses, and all that kind of mess. And I'm to the point I just don't want all that mess.
Yeah, me
A lot of
too.
responsibility.
Yeah,
The older you get, right now, we have a lot going on. And I've had to kind of learn so much so quickly. And it's a lot. I mean, like my, I learned how to hook up the trailer, to the back of the truck, and haul stuff to the dump. I mean, I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am lifting this trailer up, hooking it up. I want to make sure I'm doing it right, and it's a lot. It's a lot as we get older, we want to simplify and yet live a very full life. And sometimes complicating your life is not the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Red,
that's exactly how I feel.
Red was. I had one thing I told her. It was cold, and she was in her RV, and she said something about getting an electric heater. And I said, "Red, don't do that."
Still have it. No, yeah, I stopped using it because you told me because I flipped my breaker. I
Yeah,
I had a short
I've
and
seen more RV wiring burn up from these little bitty electric heaters than you would believe.
mm,
Wow, that's good to know. So you're saying don't use an electric heater. And
If you use it down on like 500 or 750, most people want to kick them on high 1800 watts, and that's more than that trailer's wired for. And
mhm.
the plugs up, and so that's something you don't need to do. And people will leave them on at night, and
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of get caused by them electric heaters and the wiring now.
So what do you suggest for heating? I know when we had our motorhome, my husband did something. It was something kicked on. If it went to a certain degree below a certain something, then something else kicked on. I can't remember what it was. Was it petroleum, or I think it was something with petroleum?
Now they have diesel heaters and propane heaters, and then of course your furnace. Most of your motorhomes got a pretty good sized furnace that's propane fired. Gas.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I had propane.
Welcome, Birdsey Mix Vlog. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, having a motorhome, you have to know, or a camper or anything, you do have to know what you're doing, because, that's why you see people have a lot of issues, because they don't know what they're doing. So it's important to have somebody who is helping you. I have a photo, which I think is still so funny. When we first got one of our motorhomes, I had to empty the black water, the poo poo.
No.
And of course, what happened.
No.
It wasn't good. It
I
wasn't.
have all sorts of stories about my black tank, don't I, Ron?
Yeah, yeah.
An RV, and I had one happen to me here about 2 weeks ago on the black tank. Is that I've got one of these portable tanks where you don't have to move the RV to where you dump, and you just tow it behind a pickup or whatever. Well, anyway, I started reached back there, hooked it up. I flipped that valve on, and this crazy puppy of mine, had decided that hose was something to chew on. It looked like a damn sprinkler system when it started opening the valve
Oh,
up.
no. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh
The
my gosh.
other thing that I started telling you, and I think this is important for people to know. When my wife was like she was, well, if she ran out of oxygen over 15 minutes, she'd pass out.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had to have backup systems in case something went down.
Yeah.
A couple
Mhm.
of things they came in handy, and I had 12-volt air compressors and inverters and stuff to where an extra bottle, to where I can take care of that. But I had a bunch of friends of mine down in Louisiana when Ike and Katrina came in down there, and the people that had travel trailers and generators and were set up to RV, they made it pretty good. My other friends that just lived in a house and didn't have any of that, they went without electricity for 6 weeks. No refrigeration, no air conditioning, no water. They were having to haul all that stuff. And I sort of got off into being prepared for a natural disaster,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Mhm.
That's what saved us in January. We had that big ice storm here, and I had bought. It was me that bought it. It was a great big generator. Our house was not built with, like they have the built-in ones now because our house is about 25 years old. And so I went and I bought this. It saved us. It absolutely saved us. I mean, we were able to, use space heaters. We were able to use our, microwave, our refrigerator, everything. It was amazing. So yes, I agree. I think everybody should have a camper or a travel trailer. That's just my opinion, but I do. I think they're wonderful.
I took and we had that ice storm down here this past year, and
Hmm.
it was about 2 weeks, that everything was covered up down here. And
Yeah.
I never missed it. The only thing that I started running out of after 2 weeks was bread. And when, when that got over with, I went and bought a bread maker.
Yeah.
Now I've got the stuff that I'm not going to run out of bread. I can make my own if I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else I had covered, and I had 2 weeks worth of that, between canned biscuits and you could make it. But
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that you need to have at least 30 days worth of stuff
Yeah.
set back. You know,
Mhm.
You sound, Ron, like you did an amazing job for your wife. I just did a video and I haven't put it up. I just did it today called You Are a Blessing. And what it was about caregiving. Often a person who's caregiving for a loved one often overlooks their value and significance in that other person's life. We're so focused on caregiving and on that other person that we forget that we are a blessing. And it sounds like you were just such an amazing blessing in her life, especially at that stage of life.
well, I was married. That was the third time I was married, and I had two bad marriages. It's my fault as much as it was theirs. But uh, now the last one, now we got along great. We had a good marriage, and I guess that's the reason I'm not really looking now because I figure if I had one good one, I'm probably lucky.
I told my husband, this is what I told him. I said, me personally, and I'm not recommending this to anyone else, I would never marry again. If anything happened, I would never marry again. I have no desire. We've had 30 amazing years. I would never ever marry again. I have no desire. I would have, friends of all kinds, but I would never marry. I would have no desire for that. When you've had something great, it depends. If you're 25, then that may be different. I'll be 65. When you're older, this is what people face when they're older. Even if you meet a wonderful person, they have a history. They have kids, they have history, they have
Mhm.
ways of doing things, and you have to learn all that. They have to learn yours. You have to figure it out, and And people we all come with problems. We all come with issues. We all come with things. And at 65, I just don't want to deal with all that. I would not want to deal with that. And so, especially when you've had a great marriage or a great relationship, your standards are set high, and you don't want to walk into something and at this stage of life where you have to dig your way out.
Well, what's funny? I don't think there's a woman alive that could put up with me as spoiled as I am.
I think we all think that way, though. I do. I think we all think that way. There's always somebody for everybody, but this is the thing. It's just that I'm happy with my own self, and I'm happy with my life, and I'm happy. I've got kids. I've got, they're adults, but I've got kids. I'm good, and I've been very happy. We've had an amazing marriage for 30 years, and I feel like, not, how blessed I have been to have had that journey, and have this journey with him. And hopefully it's, everything goes well, and we've got 30 more years, but
you know what that proves, Diana? That you and your husband are both really stubborn and hard-headed.
or what?
You're really stubborn and hard-headed.
I am. You ask my husband. I'm very hard-headed, but in a good way. In a good way.
It takes that to make a marriage work, though.
Yeah, it does. You have to be willing. People today throw marriages away. They just. I'm not talking about real reasons. There's times that real reasons should end, but people marry somebody and then they kick back and say, "I don't have to do any more work. I'm done." They go through that whole process of being wonderful, and then they get married, and then they get lax, and they get, sloppy and all that in their marriage. And you can't do that. You got to stay on top of things, and I've always stayed on top of my marriage. And so has my husband, and you got to work through things. I mean, there are bumps in the road of marriage. Marriage, has ditches, chuck holes, bumps, everything. And good times. You just, but today a lot of people are like, okay, I'm not in love anymore. Well, wait a minute. In grandma's day, you didn't have to be in love to stay married. You stayed married because you needed each other. And now today, the moment that people don't feel that excitement in their marriage, which comes and goes, because you live with each other every day, you see each other. The difference between being single and married is now you're sharing their problems and they're sharing your problems. So you see each other, as real people. And today it's people just throw away their marriages,
There's a lot of difference between lust and love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my husband and I stayed together for 30 years, and it was a lot of stubbornness and strong will, and we had a lot of problems from the beginning. But we had kids too, so that kept us together. And then being in the church, they just weren't ever, in the Baptist church didn't ever want you to get divorced for any reason. And the person who chooses to get the divorce is the bad guy, no matter what. And since I chose to get the divorce, I was the bad guy. But and I just didn't realize how he could be really, really nice a lot of the time. And so I focused on that, I focused on that. I'm like, well, I always thought he was trying, he's changing, he's getting better, but he was still always very passive aggressive and controlling. And I couldn't pick out anything. He built this whole big house and I couldn't hardly pick out anything. He would let me pick out something. Like sometimes he would ask me about something, but if he had it in his mind, what he wanted to get, he would say, well, which one do you like? Like if it was a light fixture or something. And I guess he was kind of hoping that I would pick the one that he wanted to get. And I would say, I like that one. And then he'd be like, oh, well, but this one has this, and this. And I need to get this one because of this, and I was just like, why did you ask me? It was just very, it wore my patience down. It was very difficult.
I want to ask Bouncer Slab here. He says he's making fresh crappies. I don't know what crappies are. Is it fish? Oh, right. Is it fish? What is it? Fish?
Fish.
How do you make
Ron?
it?
Ron knows. Ron?
How do you make, is it fried fish?
Do what?
It's a freshwater fish, isn't it?
I did.
Crappies?
Yeah, I don't know what they are. You know, I will tell you that my grandpa, he used to catch what do you call it? Not bass. It's the catfish, and he'd bring home catfish every week, and once a week we'd have catfish. And grandma standard, don't choke on the bones, you know, because the bones are always in the catfish. And I miss those catfish, you know, because you can't buy, you can go to the store and buy catfish, but it's not like grandpa catching catfish, you know, or picking berries. He used to go out along the railroad tracks and pick berries, you know.
Yeah, my grandparents had berries, and my grandmother used to make jam.
Oh, yeah.
And she used to get the bread dough. It was like homemade bread too. She used to get the bread dough from the store and bake it fresh. It was so good with the jam, with the homemade jam on it.
Well, my grandmother, you know, they grew up in they were, well, didn't grow up. She was a young woman in the Great Depression raising kids. And so they had to eat whatever, you know, catfish. Grandpa would pick the berries along the railroad track. You know, that was where I learned to cook, like fried mush, things like that. You know, and wonderful, wonderful, inexpensive foods. If you have a bag of potatoes, I always tell my kids, if you're ever broke and you can afford one thing, get a bag of potatoes and you'll be able to survive. You can make everything out of potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. And I love green tomatoes. I still, to this day, my number one favorite food in the whole world is fried green tomatoes. I love them.
I like fried squash too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, listen, I got to get off this thing. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Ron. I'm going to go chew here in a moment. I'm going to try to be on tonight. What time are you going to be on, Ron?
I come on at 11:30 at night.
If I'm up and not got cold cream all over my face, I'll pop over on your live stream.
Well, you know, don't worry about that. If you've got that on your face,
my husband says he goes to bed with a woman with cold cream on.
Cold cream and satin sheets will put you on the floor pretty quick.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And some Bengay or Vicks Vapor Rub, you know. You know you're getting old when you start to put the Vicks Vapor Rub on yourself or the Bengay, you know. I don't use that, fortunately, at this point, but.
It is nice to see you too, girl.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope to see you over on your live. Okay, I might be on at 10. I'm not sure. If I am, I'm usually not on much more than an hour. So I'll try to push everybody over to yours if I come on.
All right, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Ron. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
So Red, when are you going to do your next live? Because I know you only do it once a month on the 13th.
Yeah, I'm probably going to wait and go on the 13th again. So 13th of April. And I'll go at, you know, depending on, like, if you're going to, do you think you'll go? I think it falls on a Wednesday.
Well, just remind me when you're going to go on. If when you're going to go on, I won't go on. So
okay, yeah, because I usually went at that time. Which is 9 o'clock here and 10 o'clock there.
I actually, you know, if what you can do is just message me Facebook when you know when it's the 13th. And just message me so I don't go on. And if I do go on and I see you're on, I'll just push everybody over, you know. But yeah, because, you know, I'm not on every night. Like I've been off for a week and then I was on pretty much every night. And I didn't see you for like a week before I left. And I think it's because, but it was really strange. All my regulars were not here. So I think that they were not pushing me out at all.
Yeah, I know. I haven't been getting notifications at all. I don't even get them late. You know, that's why I have the alarm on my phone set. But then sometimes, you know, and I go swimming at night and then I would go swimming and then I'd go get groceries and then it's so late by the time.
Because I was on last night and I didn't see you. And I was thinking Red would be here and I didn't see you at all. You know, I didn't see you. And so, what I was going to say is that if you, if I, and I might be on tonight, it depends. I have some stuff I have to do here at home, but if I come on, it'll be around 10 o'clock. Hey, Play Now,
Yeah.
Baby 86. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
So,
Yes, I
using
might be on. So look for me. Look for me.
Mhm.
I mean, if I'm busy or we go out to dinner or whatever, and I'm not on, then I'm not on. I mean, I'm
Right.
not like 100%, but I'm pretty good about being on. I did come on last night at 9:45, and I was kind of waiting for you to come on to thinking that you were going to come on. But I didn't see like
Yeah.
Arnie. I don't even know where Arnie is. I was on. He did a live stream on his Fun for Summer or whatever channel he has, and I went over there while I was on Chibi, but I couldn't go up because I have my live. I wasn't doing live streaming from down there, but
Mhm.
uh, yeah. So you're not going
Good.
to come on
Yeah.
until the 13th then.
Yeah, probably not unless I pop up sometime, but I don't think so because I'm so busy right now with trying to get all these taxes done and get ready to go and just relocate when I go to Denver.
Yeah.
So I'll do the change of address and everything, and then I'll see. So my son is going to help me look around for a place and see if maybe I can buy an inexpensive place or if I might just rent. See, and that way I may eventually go back to California in a couple of years, and my son could, um, have the place that I get, or so.
Did you get your RV fixed? Because remember, it wasn't starting up.
Yeah, it was just the battery. I was thankful. Yeah, my mechanic just went over to the storage lot for me and jump started it. And
Do you
okay.
have a jumper? Do you have jumpers for it? Like where you can we have a battery charger that we plug in. Like if one of the cars go out. Hey, Modern Pro, welcome,
Mhm.
welcome. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Thank you. We have a battery charger, and you connect it, and you just run the wire, and then it charges it.
Mhm. Yeah, so Gladys had one of those things, but it wasn't working last time she tried to use it to help someone down the street here. And then
You
at the
might want to,
place I
if you're
wasn't
going to
sure.
keep your motorhome, you might want to invest in one. They're not expensive. Uh,
Yeah.
and you just what we do, because I mean periodically we have a car that goes out or whatever, and we just run it from inside the laundry room out to the whatever vehicle, and you need like an extension, a big long thick extension cord too,
Yeah.
but it works wonderful.
Yeah, since it was at the storage, that was the problem with,
Yeah,
he
you
asked
have
it
to
to.
start them up once a
Mhm.
week. You have to,
Yeah.
whether it's a car or whether it's a RV or whatever it is, you really have to start it up at least once a week.
Yeah, I was going over, it was fine. I was going once a month to crank it up. But yeah, I'm going to be going over there more often because I'm going to try and sell it. I'm going to try and
Yeah,
sell it.
even once a month may not be enough.
Yeah.
Really, when we
Yeah,
had
it wasn't.
at
It
one point
was.
put our motorhome in storage, our big one, when we were down in Texas, and we put it in storage. And I went over. My husband was gone across the world at the time, and I was. So I would take the three little kids, and we'd go over, and it was a 40-foot boundary. I would start it up every week to make sure that it was um,
Yeah, I'm going to
right
start
out.
going over. I'm going to be over there more often now because I need to clean it up. I'm going to clean it up on the
Ah,
inside and because it's just a little bit dirty. I never let it get too dirty, but
mhm.
to sell it, I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna go over there now once a week. Yeah,
Hey,
because somebody
Bench,
did say that.
welcome, welcome, Bench, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so you make sure, you do get over there because you don't want that to happen again, and
Yeah.
then you have to call somebody and that costs you money and all that. So it's worth it to go over
Mhm.
there and just, it might be an inconvenience, but it's usually a well worth inconvenience to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there all the time. I just expect, it's gonna be like 8 more weeks, and I was here. I got a lot done in the because it was about 8 weeks I was here when I was transitioning to get on the road. And I came up here without, my RV in my car, with everything I own in my car. And then I found my RV. I ended up buying my RV on my birthday. And then I sold my car right before I left in my RV from here. So, and this is the longest I've ever been here. When I came here, when I came back here in my RV in October, my potty was leaking.
Oh my gosh.
I was just so exhausted, Diana, because
Well, when things like that happen,
so many things, went wrong.
I mean, I've been through things like that, one thing after the other, and it's like,
And then, the biggest thing was going to see my oldest 2 kids in Georgia, and that not going well, that just broke my heart, so. And I didn't say anything about that at first. And then I also got locked out of my RV when I was in Georgia. So my lock was malfunction. It was a malfunction of the lock, because when you go out your RV door, it's not supposed to lock unless you lock it with a key. It was a malfunction of the door lock. And I was going, because my potty was leaking, I was going to get a bucket. It was raining. I was near the bathroom, but my potty was leaking. So I'm like, well, I can use the bathroom at this RV park where I was at. And, but then it was raining. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to step out and get my bucket. And I step out, and all I had, flip-flops on. It was pretty warm still. I had an umbrella is all I had. I didn't have my phone. I had nothing. It was so traumatic. And I ended up spending the night in my neighbor's RV.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so
things happen, it's like,
it was crazy.
Yeah.
The only number I could remember was my ex's number. And I called him, and he came to try to get in my RV.
Good for you. Good for you. Well, Red, I'm going to try to come on tonight. So I'm going to try to go get my busy work done, and I'm going to try to pop on at 10 if I can. If I don't, I don't. But, I'm going to try to be here. So hopefully, even if you don't get notification, hopefully you can pop on.
Yeah, I have the alarm that goes off. But last night I was just, I was relieved because I got the 2021 taxes done. But I don't know, like, when I got back and I got some food and I was eating. I don't know. I'm sorry I missed you last night.
Oh, that's okay. I don't think I was on real long. I can't remember how long I was on, but it wasn't real long. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, and I'm going to go make some dinner. Then I got to sit down and do some busy work, and then, take a bubble bath later, and then hopefully pop back on. So, well, thank you, my friend, for coming up here, and I hope you have a great rest of the day until I see you next time. Okay, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Bye. And everyone, thank you. May God bless all of you, and I hopefully will see you all tonight. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.